Thanks for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day. Hello, I'm Stephen Willis, the host of the Locked On Ole Miss podcast. I'm here with Tom Vanderford for his weekly segment on all things Ole Miss sports. How you doing, Tommy?
Hey, I'm doing wonderful.
Well, we survived another signing day, and as somebody that spent about a decade working for rivals and 3 years before that working for a university, signing day is about survival in my world. But Ole Miss it was probably the best signing day class of anyone they've had since 2016, honestly.
Yeah, and I think it's a lot deeper than from top to bottom from 2016. Of course, the transfer portal helps that. And but you know, it's I've never seen a class this good. I have never seen us dominate in-state high school defensive line like we did this year. Mm-hmm. I can't remember a time, ever. So that is wonderful. That tells me that people are buying into what Pete Golding and Lane Kiffin are selling. I think it helped that there wasn't any crap at the end of the year with people linking Lane to jobs and him having to be quiet. I also think that when people did try to start stuff like the DeSanto Rollins thing and some other things, it just didn't stick. Mm-hmm. And I think that infuriated some fan bases more so than anything else, that what worked 8 years ago didn't work this time.
Yeah, they're all, man, the fan base down there is just weird. Now, I realize that you're trying to rebuild a crap program because that's what they are right now, a crap program. But they know that they cannot hit the ceiling where we are at right now.
No.
That is not attainable. They can't get even with Ole Miss unless they bring Ole Miss down as well. And I think Ole Miss fans need to be smart enough to realize exactly how that works, because State will burn their own house down, as they proved 8 years ago, to take Ole Miss's house down.
That is correct. I've had and I mentioned this on the show before, I've had a Mississippi State alum actually tell me, I gave him an option. I said, would you rather go 11-1, lose to Ole Miss, and play in the SEC championship game, or go 1-11, beat Ole Miss? And he said, beat Ole Miss. And see, that's not me, dude. I would take the 11-1 every time.
And laugh at Atlanta that you beat us and we're still there.
Exactly. So goodness.
It's a weird situation. There was not much drama during signing day. There was a little stuff about Nareel White, but here's the deal with Nareel White. I don't know if the drama that he went through was his doing, somebody else trying to force it through, or something that was just completely made up. And either way, he signed wearing Ole Miss clothing. There was no doubt where he was going. He looked like he was as clear as he could be. He didn't play games in that situation. Nareel White is where we assumed last Tuesday Nareel White was going to end up.
I think the truth probably lies somewhere in the middle. I also think our little friends down to the south of us were behind every bit of it. I think that, they wanted to put in Braylon Burnside's head that Nareel White may be going somewhere else other than Ole Miss. If you notice, now don't get me wrong. I think Burnside's parents want him to go to Mississippi State. I think they've made that clear.
I think Burnside wants to go to Ole Miss.
Exactly. If you watch Burnside in the Mississippi-Alabama All-Star game, he was wearing Ole Miss gloves, so that will be interesting. I know a few years ago there was a signing day. I think it was an Army All-American game that the mama wanted the kid to go to one school and he chose another school. And
she wanted him at LSU and he went to Bama, or vice versa. Yeah. I
Yeah.
remember that.
But you hit the nail on the head though, Stephen. In times past, there have been flips and flops, and you don't know who you're going to get signing day, much like Auburn was this year. They had issues and were working working the phones late, and there is a common denominator there. But Kiffin seems to get all of his eggs in one basket. I mean, we had 21 commits, we had 21 signed.
Yeah.
No drama. They came in one right after another. And it's refreshing to have professionals at every level of your football club.
Yeah. And Auburn's down hard at the moment. The kicker ended up going to that location, and he chose that Auburn, the hometown guy chose the hometown school over going to Ole Miss in a situation where Auburn absolutely needed a win. And you got media personalities trying to dunk on Lane Kiffin because they got a kicker of all things. And it's like, man, you guys can't touch us right now. Come talk to us in a couple of years, honestly.
Yeah. I think they're used to being the Auburn from years past.
Mm-hmm.
And a lot of people don't understand that Ole Miss is a different ball club. Yeah, we had the hiccup last year when we had multiple issues with people being hurt, with the Kiffin rumors. But other than that, I mean, we went to 2 New Year's Six bowls and the Outback Bowl in 3 out of 4 years. So I think people will eventually realize this is our new normal.
Mm-hmm. Yep. And I'm going to tell you something right now. Auburn does not want any of Ole Miss right now. They are so glad that Ole Miss is not on the schedule.
There are a lot of schools, I think, that are glad that Ole Miss is. I had an Alabama fan tell me, I'm glad we're not playing y'all next year.
Yeah.
They don't usually, win. It's just they see what we're building, and they would rather not have to face us if they didn't have to.
Yeah. Paul Feinbaum talking about how Ole Miss has entered the elite club in the Southeastern Conference, and this is the most talented roster that Ole Miss has ever had. I'm telling you, I did a video on Friday. Yesterday, I did a video talking. It's okay for Ole Miss fans not to expect a national championship, but expect a run for a national championship. Ole Miss can win the national championship in 2024, and everybody just needs to get used to that fact.
Well, Roman Harper's not a big Ole Miss homer. He's a Bammer. And I saw where he even stated, he said, I'm calling it now. Ole Miss is going to be in the playoffs next year.
Yeah.
So, no matter what happens, we sure do have a ton of respect that we haven't had. I remember when Hugh Freeze first came to Ole Miss, he said he wanted to make us relevant. And he did, and then we had our downfall. But this is totally different. We are relevant. We are one of the big dogs, and I just love all. Can I say just one thing that just cracked me up? Now it's obvious Deion Smith or somebody leased a sports car for a day for him to sign.
He rented it. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. And these people are going crazy. One state guy goes, y'all are flunked it. Y'all ain't even blah, 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 blah. I said, dude, we probably didn't have anything to do with that.
The hilarious thing is, the stuff that everybody accused Texas A&M of is like, oh, they have all this money and every sliced bread, the whole 9 yards. And now they're accusing us. And it's like, okay. Y'all just making excuses for losing kids at this point, because there's no way you can put Texas A&M money and Ole Miss money in the same breath unless you ain't got no money.
Right. Exactly. Texas A&M, they got that oil money. We've just got some lawyers and some doctors and some business people and
some tobacco lawsuit money, to be fair.
Exactly. Tobacco lawsuit money. But let me tell you something. Are you a member of the NIL, the Grove Collective NIL?
I am.
So am I.
Mm-hmm.
So were thousands of people.
Mm-hmm.
You know, $21 a month, $48 a month, $100 a month. There are a lot of people in that category.
And also,
yep, you can buy merch. Oh, I love Realtree.
Yeah. I'm wearing stuff on the program because they deserve their props. So I'm forcing some programs in.
Tyler Jordan is the man.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and it's really cool. Anyway, this time next week, Ole Miss will be done with their bowl game. So we're about 7 days away from the Peach Bowl. I guess this is Saturday, so it's the morning of.
Yeah.
So we're 1 week away from that. The Peach Bowl is sold out. You can go to the Game Time ticketing app. If you're a new person, you can sign up for that and get $20 off. I think get-in prices right now is about $92, but that could go up or down as well. What do you think about this game going into it?
Oh, I think it's going to be just like an Ole Miss home game. I really do. I mean, I know Penn State travels well, but I think there will be more Rebs there than there will be Nittany Lion fans. I do think it's going to be a close game. Mm-hmm. I think they have a very good defense. I think our defense is going to be legit. I know last year our defense wasn't. They didn't seem like they were ready for the game. And the offense didn't either, of course. But I think Pete Golding will have our defense ready for the game. And I think our offense will want to try. This is a rehearsal for 2024. Mm-hmm. Our team needs to go out and we need to win. It's imperative that we win as a prelude to 2024, in my opinion.
Yeah, a lot of players on the roster. This is almost like a dress rehearsal. Yeah. Because if like a John Saunders or those guys come back to school, Ole Miss has just signed, I think, 6 or 7 SEC starters on defense.
Yeah.
So you are auditioning for your position. Cedric Johnson has opted out. And that Spencer Sanders is the other person that isn't going to play in the game. So that means Isaac Ukwu is going to get a lion's share of the reps, and you're going to see a lot of Suntarine Perkins. So that is going to be interesting as well. And to seeing what can actually happen. I think Suntarine is going to have a day, honestly.
Yeah, I think so too. I think he is. He had some, and I don't know, and I don't want to know, but I wonder if he had some nagging injuries there later in the year because he didn't play as much.
I had a rumor of a shoulder.
Yeah, and if that's so, he should be nice and healed up. He's a super athlete. And let's not forget, I mean, I don't think he'll play a lot, but Dudley's able to play. Mm-hmm.
I've been asking that question for 3 weeks, and they finally asked it at a press conference.
Yeah, they finally did. And he's like, yeah, he's eligible. So, and I like Cedric. It's okay with me that he opted out of the bowl game. But I think we're going to be all right at defensive end for the bowl game, minus Cedric. I really do.
Yeah, should be really interesting to see. And
we're still going to have Ukwu. We're going to have some Suntarine moving around out there. So, yeah, I'm looking for. Of course, we're going to have my pal Ashanti. For steady.
It's his swan song.
That's right, and I think it's going to be really fun to watch. I don't think it's going to be anything like our last Peach Bowl.
Yeah. Yes, absolutely. Anyway, thank you for making the Locked On Ole Miss podcast your first listen every day. We're free and available wherever you get your podcast, including YouTube. We're part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every single day. Tom Vanderford joining us for his weekly spot like he always does. Thank you so much for joining us, Tom.
Hey, man, I appreciate it, Steve. Hotty toddy.
Hotty toddy.